Hey, it's Dwayne Rockin' Doc Anderson here with another YouTube video. It's been a little while. I've got lots of stuff to show you this time around, so I'll try and make it quick so this video isn't too long. Going to be checking out some recent vinyl finds, some mail order stuff, and once again I was back in Saskatoon for another installment of the Lion Super Duper Flea Market that took place this past Saturday, February 18th. And I'll talk a bit about that, but let's get right into it. First off, I've got a bunch of stuff I got in the mail from a place in Steinbeck, Manitoba that I order from very frequently. Get mail order stuff from Phil at the Vinyl Experience. Got a big box of stuff last time, so let's get going. Here's some 60s stuff I got. This is a double LP set of Paul Revere and the Raiders, a couple of their albums put together as one. You got that one and that one together as a 2 LP set. Also got this one, another one, kind of a sampler from the 60s, called What's Shakin'. And it's got the Lovin' Spoonful, Paul Butterfield Blues Band. It's got a bit of Al Cooper and a bit of Eric Clapton on that. Also got the Bangles. This one has their big hit, Walkin' Like an Egyptian. Then I got some BTO. This is a later period BTO from 1984. Then I picked this one up, a double album called Live Hotels, Motels, and Road Shows. And what this is a bunch of Southern rock artists on the Capricorn label, such as the Allman Brothers. Who else is on here? Greg Allman, Elvin Bishop, Marshall Tucker Band, Grinder Switch, Dixie Dregs, and a couple others. And I got this one, Alvin Lee with his 10 Years Later band. And some more late 60s stuff, the best of the Blues Project. And then I picked up some stuff that when I was younger I wasn't terribly into, but I thought now that I'm getting older and a little more tolerant, I'd try some of their bands stuff, early stuff. This one, of course, is Jefferson Airplane, Serialistic Pillow, that has their big hit White Rabbit. And I'm familiar with their hits, but I was never much into their albums, so I'm gonna give it another whirl. 40 years later, see if I like them any better. Here's another one that I wasn't really into, but this has Stephen Stills in it, Manassas. Give that a try, see if I like it now. And another band that was quite popular in the late 60s, early 70s on the San Francisco scene, Quicksilver Messenger Service. And again, I wasn't really into these guys back then, but I'm gonna give it another whirl, see what happens. Here's another one, same deal. I wasn't really into it at the time, but I'm gonna give it another try. The Lee Michaels Band Live. And then a couple of new things I got. This is the reissue of Rare Earth, the Ma album. This one was put out in 2021. And then some of the later Nashville Pussy. This was their last studio album they put out in, I think it was 2018. And I also got this one, Double Live, Nashville Pussy, Eaten Alive, and this was put out in 2021. So that's the stuff I got from Vinyl Experience in Steinbeck, and like I said, I get stuff from him quite regular. I He lets me accumulate it, and then usually once a month he sends me a box full of stuff that I've had put away. But I did get some mail order stuff. I got some stuff from Amazon. I know, grown, buying from those big corporations, but I only buy from Amazon when I can't get it for a fairly reasonable price. You know, when you have to buy one LP for usually 25 or 30 US and then pay 30 US dollars for postage. So you end up with a $60 or $70 record. So I have to resort to buying from Amazon because I can get it cheaper and get it shipped for free. Here's one of the ones, the latest album from 9 Pound Hammer, which features Blaine Cartwright, guitarist from Nashville Pussy. He was originally in this band before he formed Nashville Pussy, but they split up and he formed Nashville Pussy, and then they got back together again later on. So this is their brand new one. And When the Shit Goes Down is what it's called, the new one. I haven't listened to it yet. But they're a kind of a punky, cowpunk, rootsy, country kind of band. And then I got this one, Miss Georgia Peach, Aloha from Kentucky. And she's been around for a while. She was in some punk bands and was in a hard rock band called the Short Fuses. And this is her first solo album, I believe. And this features Blaine and Ryder from, of course, from Nashville Pussy, and also a couple of other guys from 9 Pound Hammer. And it's a country album. And she does a lot of covers on this. Some well-known covers and some not so well-known covers. But that's Miss Georgia Peach. And then, like I said at the beginning of the video, I was just at Saskatoon on Saturday. Again for the Lions Super Duper Flea Market. This was the February edition. They also do one in November, which I was at last year in November. Anyways, I tried to leave earlier this time so I could get into town in time to check out a couple of local record shops that I always go to when I'm in Saskatoon. And because they're an hour ahead of us, because here in Alberta we change our time in the spring and the fall, which really irritates me. I don't know why they still do that, but they still do. So besides trying to get there early, you got to compensate for that extra hour of time. Anyways, I did make it in time. Last time in November, I only had time to go to Vinyl Experience, which is right downtown Saskatoon, and I usually go to Vinyl Diner, which is across the river on, it's called Broadway Avenue. When I was there in November, I didn't have time to go to Vinyl Diner, but I did this time. I made it to both of them. So here's what I got at Vinyl Diner. Picked up Alice Cooper with the die-cut sleeve, and it's got the little door at the back. And, the cover's in pretty rough shape, but the vinyl is in really good shape. And I have to admit, I'm not much into later period Alice. I like the early stuff when he still had the band together. But I had my grandson with me, and he said, "Grandpa, you got to get this one. It's a great album." And it was only $10, so I grabbed it. Also saw one at the flea market that was trashed, and they wanted $20 for it, so I guess I got a good deal. Also picked up one I've been looking for a while, the Radio Stars holiday album. This was their second album. They released 2 albums in the late 70s, which are really hard to find now. I used to have both of them, but I actually sold them, so I'm glad to get this one back. Still looking for their first one, Song for Swingin' Lovers. And the ones that's good thing about, not a good thing, but a notable thing about their first album, it's called For Swinging Lovers, and the cover actually has a picture of a couple hanging from a tree, so it's a little bit of humor there to coincide with the cover. But this is their second one, holiday album. Then I picked this one up because this is the Len Price 3. They're a power pop band. I have one of their previous CDs, so I saw this one there, and I picked it up. So you see the sticker. It says has the CD and the download card, but the CD is actually missing from this copy, but the download card's still there. A couple of new things I got. Brand new one from Lee Aaron, called Elevate. So this one I think just came out this year, and she's supposed to be still going at it pretty hard and heavy, so I'm looking forward to listening to this. Another Rocky Erickson reissue. This one was released in 2022, and it's actually a live show with the Explosives at the Whiskey A Go Go in 1981. Haven't heard it, but looking forward to that one too. Those were from the Vinyl Diner in Saskatoon, and then I also got a few things from Vinyl Exchange in Saskatoon. Got this one, Mondo Rock. Don't know much about it. It's probably fairly sappy pop rock, but I bought this one because it has which one is he? I think it's this guy. I'm not sure, but Ross Wilson is his name, and he was the vocalist for one of my favorite Australian bands from the late 60s, early 70s called Daddy Who. So picked that up just because he's in it, so I'm not really sure what it's like. But the band's called Mondo Rock. And then I finally decided to try and get some 60s stuff that I listened to when I was a young lad. Saw there. I was gonna actually get. They had a greatest hits there, but it had kind of a big scratch across one side, so I got this one instead. But this one has their big hit, "Ferry Across the Mersey." So pick this one up. And then I got a couple from these guys. Don't know who they are. Never heard of them. The Dizzy Satellites. But the cover, especially on this one, looks like it'd be something I'd really be into. So they were fairly reasonably priced. So I figured, what the hell, I'll get both of them. I was only going to get this one to try it, and maybe get this one later. But I figured, what the hell, they're cheap. I'll get them both. So the Dizzy Satellites. Hopefully they're good. So that was stuff from Vinyl Exchange. Two of the stores I always try and go to when I'm in Saskatoon. So, like I said, I was fortunate enough to get there in time, and then right after we hit both of those, we headed right down to the exhibition grounds and set up Friday, because you could set up the day before. So we got it all set up for the show on Saturday, and then Saturday I went a little early because I wanted to check around. And I've talked about this in another video, and the last video for the November show. It's a lot of antiques, crafty kind of stuff, baking goods, preservatives, that kind of stuff. But there are some, myself included, there are some vendors there that sell vinyl. Although a lot of the vinyl I happen to see there is usually trashed and overpriced. And there was actually one guy there, and I don't know where he come up with the prices on some of this stuff, but it was really common stuff that their dollar records are $5 records, max $5 records. He was asking $15, $20, $25 for. Crazy. So I just kind of looked through his stuff and figured, what the hell are you thinking, buddy? Anyways, I did actually find one vendor who had a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff that I already own, so I picked a few things up from him. Not a lot of stuff because, like I said, most of the stuff that I would buy I already had. But I've been looking at the early Steve Miller Band stuff. I'm not a Steve Miller Band fan. Most of his stuff is like really radio friendly, commercial top 40 hits. But apparently his early stuff from the late 60s is pretty blues rock oriented. So his first 2 or 3 albums. So I finally bit the bullet and purchased one just to see what it was like. I haven't listened to it yet, but it looks interesting, really interesting. Like it's going to be probably a killer album. So looking forward to this one too. Then I picked up a couple of metal things. I got Alcatraz's debut album from 1983, and this is a band that features former Rainbow vocalist Graham Bonnet and a very, very young Yngwie Malmsteen. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, got this one. And I believe this is the Canadian version, but I think, if I remember correctly, maybe the UK or some of the US versions, there's a rock here and a guy's behind bars. But if I remember correctly, there was one issue that this was a die cut. But this isn't the one. This is just a solid cover. Then I picked up this one, Gothic Slam. They're a New Jersey thrash metal band from 1989, and they did 2 albums that they released in the late 80s, and this is the second one. And lastly, I got a couple of, I got these from Bandcamp. I ordered them directly from the band. I really like this band. I've got some of their other singles and a couple of their albums. They're called Wasagas, and they're a instrumental surf kind of band from Toronto. And there's this one, which is called, the main song is called Summer of Frankenstein, and it's on a I don't know what you call that color, pink, I guess. Pink vinyl. And then this one, backwards. And this one's called Hellbent for Speed. And not only is this a great Canadian band doing instrumental surf kind of stuff, but both of these covers, and I think some of their LP covers were done by a great Canadian artist out of Winnipeg called Darren Marinick. And I collect a lot of his stuff with his covers because they're always great. And he does a lot of this kind of stuff that I'm into, like surf and garage and punk. He does a lot of covers for bands in those genres. So anyways, got those from Bandcamp. Right from the band. So that's it for this video. If you'd like, you can, down below, you can hit the subscribe button and the notifications. It'll let you know when I do another video. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate you watching my videos. And take care and stay healthy. We'll see you again next time.